We watched from the window as the dogs came eagerly and confidently toward our home. There were half dozen of them, all sizes. They came as far as the place where we had visualized and felt, or accepted, the wall of light. There they stopped. They tried to come further, but evidently could not, so they circled the house in perplexity. Then, dog fashion, they lay down to await developments. But one by one, unable to approach one step nearer their heart's desire, they left the scene, not to return. Mrs. Bülow also said she used the wall of light around her automobile at all times, and it was demonstrated that she was saved from car accidents on more than one occasion. As she stated in the article, she long ago learned to draw the wall of light around herself. Later she lived in Chicago for a period, and there she found that she could draw the wall of light about her on the coldest winter day, and that she could walk through the biting winds blowing from Lake Michigan and yet remain comfortably warm. On hot summer days she used it in a similar manner to keep herself comfortably cool. Most of Saint Germain's disciples can report similar personal experiences with the wall of light, which for individual use is visualized as a great tube of light about 12 feet high and 9 feet in diameter. The light should be visualized as cascading down around this tube like sunlight flashing on snow. It is important to understand that in the days before the laggards came to the earth, every person was born equipped with this tube of light. The tube of light afforded positive protection against accidents, disharmony of any kind, and served as an added purpose of constantly radiating forth pure energy which kept the surrounding atmosphere fragrant and refreshed. Therefore, whenever a human being moved, he was rendering a constant service to his Creator by spreading radiant light. Now, during the present Aquarian age, all persons must rebuild this tube of light. In these early years of the new era, the tube has been used only by interested disciples who were eager to experiment with the technique. But as the age advances, each and every person will be called to the ranks of discipleship. That will be the only type of classroom work on this planet. Those who cannot or will not serve the light on one or more of the rays, and who refuse to take part in New Age techniques designed to banish disease, death, and disharmony, will be removed to a specially prepared planet with low vibrations. There they can experiment with their own free will, miscreations, until such time as they are ready to qualify energy constructively. In these latter days, since the axis of the earth is straightened, permitting the vibratory action of the planet to be rapidly increased in order to help individuals to reach the ascension frequency, it would indeed be the part of wisdom to seriously construct and use the tube of light. Each individual should use it not only for himself, but for others. It is usually not wise to inform the person who is being assisted of the help that is being offered in silence. This knowledge often causes antagonism, which defeats the whole effort, because the person who is being helped is, through his rebellion, accumulating karma more rapidly than it can be dispelled. In fact, the golden rule of the new golden age will be found in that one word, silence. People could halt half of the trouble in the world today if they would just stop chattering like monkeys in a tree and listen to the voice of the silence that speaks from the depths of each beating heart. In the wall of light around yourself, it would indeed be wise for every mother and father to keep the wall of light constantly around their children. It can be used either to make a person invisible or for protection. It is even bulletproof, but it serves as a protective device only. Most people will feel that this is assuredly a sufficient reward. This is a mistake, for in dealing with God's law, it is extremely unwise to place any limitation on them. The gambling attitude of, well, I'll take a chance, what have I got to lose? Maybe it will work, and if it does, I'm that much ahead, is an attitude that might well carry one through a day at Hialeah or an evening at Las Vegas. But in building the tube of light, one should begin by making an affirmation that is free from limitation. I place a wall of light around myself that keeps me invisible, invincible, and invulnerable to everything that is unlike the Christ, is a free avowal. But it must not be left high and dry on the mental plane, for there it will prove sterile. Remember that most of the sorry individuals who were bottled up in the compound for so long were, for the most part, intellectuals. It was their lack of feeling that prevented them from expressing love for the light. Therefore, when thinking the tube of light into manifestation, it is necessary to feel very deeply about the glory of serving the light. There must be no feeling of personal glory, but rather a feeling that one is being absorbed, body, mind, and soul, back into the cosmic glory of God, which we once knew when we emerged as white fire beings from the flaming heart of Alpha and Omega. The wall of light, or tube of light, is formed of electronic substance, which is the primal life substance released from the great central sun of the galaxy, the twin flames of Alpha and Omega. So we, as individualized sparks from the heart of that same sun, emerged in physical life surrounded by that protective God substance. Since we lost contact with our source, we must now regain the full realization of our divinity, and our efforts to reform the tube of light around ourselves signifies that we are once more willing to serve the light by using the electronic substance of light itself. There is nothing mystical or mysterious about forming the tube of light, as Mrs. Burlow has so clearly shown. It is a strictly scientific matter, as practical and demonstrable as the multiplication tables. Of course, the individual in his heart must know that God power is the only sustaining power in the universe. God is an invented name and should not be used in building the tube of light if an individual feels that it has something to do with church-going. If that concept gets in the way, it is better to simply realize that God manifests as light, and in this galaxy as the particular light from Alpha and Omega. This electronic light is everywhere and is completely responsive to human thought. Thought is a rate of vibration which creates things. The tube of light which you build around yourself will take on the quality of your own thought. Therefore, if you think of the tube as being an invincible and invulnerable protection, it will function as such so long as you keep your mind free from any doubt on the subject. If you doubt the value of the tube, it will simply disappear because you have commanded it to do so by your own distrust. The first step, therefore, is to command the electronic substance to surround you and remain permanently invulnerable to all that is not of the light. The process of manifesting the tube is simple. It requires no money, no special equipment, no college degree. It does, however, require a certain amount of practice, but 5 minutes 3 times a day is enough to start. First of all, try to be alone and undisturbed if possible. In households where privacy is at a premium, it is perhaps best to utilize a few minutes before arising or after retiring. Make your physical body as relaxed and comfortable as possible, and then forget it. Focus your attention upon your own inner self, your divine presence within your own beating heart. From this focus, visualize a great white tube of electronic light gathering about you. Make this tube about 9 feet in diameter and see it extending about 3 feet beneath you and 3 feet above you. This tube, as seen in the ethers, is white and scintillating, like sunlight glistening on snow, and the electronic substance rushes continually over it like the splashing of a brilliant waterfall, ever renewed, ever fresh, and yet ever flowing. Needless to say, it is not well at the present time to discuss the tube of light in idle conversation. In a few years, when chaotic conditions have cleared, every child will be instructed in building the tube of light as part of his home training and school work. Once the tube is built, it is not advisable to leave it empty, with only you inside it. Visualize it filled at all times with the great surging flames of the violet fire of the 7th ray.